This is Painting Platinum. I'm here with Justin, and we're going to be doing a little bit of painting. So, I'm just going to pull up chat. It looks like I'm on a random. There's where I need to be. Okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Uh oh. Okay. Oh, no, no, no. No. You didn't hear that, did you? Oh, okay, good. I had an ad. It scares me. After that one time, I had an ad and everybody heard it and it was loud and really scary. Okay, just kidding. Sorry, guys. I'm the not professional one. Justin here is the professional one. He is our. What are you, Justin? Are you a producer? I know we've had this conversation. Hi, maybe one. Yeah, excellent. Everyone is everything. Wasn't that a Lauryn Hill song? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, oh, okay. Anyway, so we have our mini, we have our paint. We're gonna be doing a little bit of painting. I might talk a little bit about the new colors, but I don't know if everyone saw it. Um, but Rhonda did a really neat little swatch of most of the colors. She didn't have the fast palettes because we weren't ready. We didn't have the packaging in time to send them to her. So I sent her a couple fast palettes yesterday, and she'll be receiving them probably tomorrow and be able to play with those on stream, which is really, really nice. Um, as per usual, I did not really have time to prepare, so I just grabbed a smattering of colors that I've kind of been using and then the new colors because and I'll play with colors a little bit. I mean, who cares if I finish, right? Jesus. How many times have I said I was going to finish and then not finish? What's the point? What's the point in all this rushing around? We should just be living. Just be in the moment. Get it together. Um so Justin just went on vacation. Let's see, hold on a minute. Do you know when the Cyberfast palettes will be available outside of the bundles? I do not. I don't really know what their process is other than when maybe it'll be when Reap, Reaper Virtual Expo starts. They'll start to sell everything kind of open. I don't know. They always say when they like if they have more. I really don't know what their process is. Because it's a little different this year. Everybody's got kind of a different style, and I've noticed that the kind of way we're doing things now is why would we go back and build these boxes again when we can just make them all at once? So we kind of did that, but I know I didn't make enough paint for 1,000. Maybe made enough paint for, I don't know, 500. So to answer your question, I don't know, but I've been told that they will be on sale because we have the packaging for them. So we'll sell through the kits as long as we have the packaging, and then we'll make a determination on whether or not we should reorder the packaging to sell the kits. There is something special that's going to happen with the series of numbers. Like, you'll notice that these have, sorry, I'll be more focused in just a second, but you'll notice that these have a different series of numbers. So we have a little bit more clarity and freedom when we decide what to do with that. Thanks, Dr. Bob. Um, so, first we'll talk about Justin's vacation. So, Justin, where did you go on vacation? Aspen. The Sunshine State. Son of a bitch. There's no audio on Justin. Ugh. Okay. What did we do then? Okay, so audio input capture. You probably are. Is that what I'm looking for? I did. I did fix it 2 weeks ago. Isn't that fun? Isn't it really, really, really fun? That like, yeah, that oh, okay. All right. Say something, Justin.
Something Justin.
Wouldn't it be funny if kind of like Fight Club, Justin really never existed? Spoiler alert. I don't know if it is really a spoiler alert because if I remember correctly, it wasn't really clear. No, no, no. I think Tyler Durden was the extra. Okay, loud and clear. Perfect. Okay. He went to Aspen. Clear pants. That is true. He probably is wearing his clear pants. His clear leggings. So, you went to Aspen. Who did you go with? Who all went?
I went with my fiance and her family.
Oh, a good thing though. Justin likes his fiance's family.
I do. They've definitely quickly become really they're my family at this point. I mean, they're
That's
they're
sweet.
great people, and because it's definitely not something in the past I've not gotten close to my significant other's family quite like I have with my fiance's.
Yeah, I've
So
definitely seen that go sour for people. So, I've always kind of told my friends, like, hey, that's not your family. Don't get in there too deep. You're gonna give yourself a problem, which might be cynical,
yeah,
but
no, I mean I've had similar. I would say I've had similar. I guess points of view in the past. Um, just because I don't know, I'm not even really super close with my own family. That's kind of my thing. Is my angle is always that I could go months without really seeing my family. I mean, I talk to them every now and then, but like I've just never been much of a family person. But I definitely his family far more than I see my own.
sorry, I was trying to turn you down a little bit. Hopefully that worked. Somebody said you're way louder than me, and that's not accurate.
Thank
That's
you, Trash. At Penn.
Aspen. So, um, well, that's excellent. Did you ski? I don't remember if I asked you that.
I did. Well, I'm sorry. I went with the intent to ski. It didn't quite work out like that because I'm kind of out of shape and being 8,000 feet up plus doing an intensive exercise just doesn't work out if you're fairly over. And by fairly, I mean pretty overweight and out of shape. So I attempted to ski, wore me out the first day. Attempted the second day to snowboard, and that didn't work out. So then we were kind of done with the snowboard and skiing. My fiance snowboarded a bunch. Actually, she did a pretty
Oh,
good job. You know.
we were going to flow. We were going to show pictures, but I didn't get finished getting ready in time, and I had a couple technical issues, so that didn't happen. I will show one picture in a little bit, and it's only because it was in my email. It's not because I don't like Justin. But I
Trust
really,
me, I think everyone here believes that if you had the photos, you would show them. You've
yeah,
got no problem showing photos.
I've realized that my love of elementary school show and tell has become everybody else's problem, in the sense that that's what this show is about. I want to tell and show. I'd like to show and tell. All right, I'm trying to get this thing to maybe. Okay, I've got an idea. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, that does work. Imagine Justin as a slightly more approachable George Clooney. You know, that's exactly what I've heard him described as. Sadie, red and green with gold flakes. Maybe. Um, so we do have a green gold, though it's it's a very kind of like almost not lime green. I don't know. It's like trying to think. Trying to think quickly. Probably more on the yellow side green, and when I hear green gold, I think like darker green gold.
I will say
Oh.
the green on that bottle, um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, the green on that bottle seems very accurate to the green you might find on like there's, that deep green you see
Thanks.
on champagne bottles. Like it's
Mhm.
very, I feel like it's incredibly accurate.
Oh no. Valander says mine was ordered Monday but put on the truck last night and is now sitting in Fort Worth citing unavailable delays. So I'll tell you what Ed told me. Ed told me that depending on how many packages your package is with and what else is in the package and a number of other factors, that it might not be as vulnerable to freezing. Um, let's see. Is the new metallic green color
I
based on the old? Yes, it is Nomad Zeke. Based on the
I
old green
wonder
seal.
actually, Sadie. Sorry, not to interrupt, but
No,
I
go ahead.
wonder if Valandar's package was because there was a FedEx truck involved in that accident this morning.
Oh my god.
I
So,
mean, so yeah, I was supposed to say, go ahead and tell everyone.
so there was a really, really awful accident this morning. Um,
Right outside of Fort Worth,
right
actually. It,
outside
it
of
was
Fort
about
Worth.
10 minutes from 15 minutes from my house, actually.
It was it north of Fort Worth,
Yeah, just north of Fort Worth, and it was in the southbound lanes.
southbound
Yeah, it was
lanes.
100 car pileup. Yeah,
A
it
100 car
was.
pileup. It's terrible. It's really awful. Um, so obviously we're thinking of everyone in that, and you know, sending our love. It's really bad, and it's
Yeah,
the
there
kind of
there were
thing.
multiple 18-wheelers involved. So, like FedEx is just one of the trucks I saw. There's really no telling outside of the loss of life that it caused, and damage. There's no telling what it caused in terms of delays, right?
Yeah. Um, when something like that happens, there's always something like this. But I do have a friend who drives that way to work and was kind of just a few minutes ahead of it. Oh my God, 39 people to the hospital last I saw. And see, this is why it's so important for hospitals to have all the resources they can and not be just totally overrun. Because when something happens to anybody, but like happens to you or your loved ones, you want the hospital to be able to take care of you in a way that um, they really normally would be able to. And I think we're in a good place right now. I haven't heard anything about hospital numbers lately and capacity, but I think they're dealing with it. Mm.
Right. I believe last I checked there were multiple people to the hospital. I believe there was 3 or 4 fatalities. And if you saw there's lots of wreckage photos being circulated right now. Either on Facebook locally. There's some news photos of it. It was it would be hard to imagine the very front of what happened there, and there not being any fatalities. It was pretty insane in terms of what happened.
Yeah, it's awful, but we can hope. You know,
5 fatalities. Okay,
ugh,
look at that. Yeah.
it's terrible.
It's beyond terrible. It's very avoidable down here, especially very avoidable. Just because we don't get ice very often, and I feel like there's a lot of overconfidence in Texas, particularly because we don't deal with ice very often. Excuse me. To where if we hear that the road conditions are X or Y, everyone passing through there should be as informed as they can be and drive accordingly, right?
Right. Yeah, it's I tell my people, so our policy at Reaper is if any school district is closed between yourself and Reaper, including the Reaper School District Denton and wherever you are, then don't come in. But also, if you don't feel safe, don't come in. I always stress that to people because when I worked at the spa and we had the cobblestone ice, if you remember that, um,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yes, you're referring to Ice Apocalypse.
yes, ice apocalypse. Icepocalypse 2, actually. I don't know if this was Icepocalypse because um, this was a few years later than the first Icepocalypse where it just would not stop. You remember? Maybe I'm mistaken on the cobblestone ice, but I had to drive in it because I worked at the spa and they didn't they didn't close the spa, but they didn't take new appointments. So if some fancy old lady decided, well, I've been at the spa since 9 a.m. getting a massage, but I would also like a facial and nail appointments and whatever, and just wants to hang out all day, then you have to stay for your appointment. So anyway, I had to stay till close because I had like one lady who was like, hell no, I'm here. I'm getting my nails done. So I do her nails, I leave. And it was the situation where if anybody were around me, I would have had an accident several times over. Sorry, guys, this isn't.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah, I just remember that deep freeze. Like my boss, similar to kind of what you're talking about here, where I worked in Louisville actually, and he literally expected me still to come to work, and that was one of the last times. That was the company I worked for before Reaper, and that was one of the last times that I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And actually, I believe I put my 2 weeks on the phone in with him right there because of that.
yeah,
Um, it was so bad. I was like, I'm not like you can't expect me to drive on this. Like you said, cobblestone ice. When I drove because I had a Mini Cooper at the time, it was like I was driving over bowling balls. Like it just bounced. There was
it
so
was
much ice on the ground. Yeah,
it was bizarre. So it's yeah, people can be a little overconfident and it can cost people their lives. It's nothing to play with. So I just tell people, hey, if you're not comfortable coming in, do not come in here. And I'm pretty sure the bosses will be cool with that. And if they weren't, I'd go to bat for you because there's no reason to get hurt trying to come in here and pump paint. It's just ridiculous, you know.
yeah. And
So
I actually would like as a PSA to really after seeing some of the videos from the thing this morning, um, I would like to really hammer home. Keep your eyes on the road, folks.
gotcha.
Please keep your eyes on the road. I don't care what is going on, whether ice or not. Just don't drive distracted.
Yeah, it's it a lot can change really quickly, even if there aren't any cars around you.
Correct. Hell, I my drive home when it's early enough, it's straight into the sun. Whenever I get off on
Yeah,
820, and there was a circumstance 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or no, it was right before I left for Aspen, where I got off the exit, and you're staring right into the sun. It's right at mid car like windshield level, right? And there was a truck behind me that just had to swerve hard. I mean, I heard it and everything, made me like almost you know, lose my mind basically, or urinate myself, one of the two, because he almost smashed into the back of me. It was an F-150, so it was pretty scary. I was shaken up a little bit after that. Not gonna lie.
and it's like you said, people are so confident. That is, I won't get too deep into it because we'll go into a place where Justin will have to cut me off. But we are in a place in society, like at least in this country right now, where our confidence is so much higher than our competency as a whole, and it's horrifying. It is so scary the stuff people have told me kind of lately, and I'm like, that that is not true, and you're so confident. It's insane. Stop it, please. But what are you gonna do? And it's been
Right.
that way for a while because I've read that there was a study on our test scores versus our confidence, and we like scored really high in the confidence, not as high in competence. So
That
anyway,
yeah, they actually teach that when I got my motorcycle license. They said that as you gain experience, this is based on the statistics. When you take the class, they say as you gain experience, in theory, the safety, like they show the line graph, and they say that proportionally it should go down. Your risk, in theory, should go down as you gain confidence. But they showed that as statistically, as people gain confidence, the risk went up and up and up and up because people will drive to their skill level or beyond. They
yeah,
won't
you'll
stay
start
well
driving with
within
your
it.
knee, dipping a chicken nugget in some sauce.
Correct.
with
Yeah, and
coffee
it's yeah,
between your legs, texting.
and it's just, and I've never seen honestly the best example of that on motorcycles, Sadie, was Gus. And if Gus hadn't had the absolute fortunate accident that he did, remember when he laid his bike down over in
Yeah.
front of Reaper doing about 30 miles an hour? He got out of that with very few scratches, no broken bones, nothing crazy. It scared him enough that he was like, you know what? I have to be careful. And he's since then he's been very careful. So
Oh, does he still bike?
yeah, he's I think he got a new bike up in Wisconsin.
Smart. Yeah, I seem to remember somebody telling you guys that maybe being a grown adult, it's not the best time to start motorcycling, but I don't know. What do I know? I'm not into motorcycles. I don't know everything.
Motorcycles.
Motorcycles. Okay.
I miss mine, I'll be honest. I ever since um my fiance kind of was like, "Hey, you need to kind of get rid of that because she was basically the first one on. I think I told you about that. She was the
Mhm.
first one on the scene of an incredibly graphic and bad motorcycle accident where the driver was actually drunk. Um, and it's bad in a car. It's especially bad in a motorcycle. But um, yeah, so she after that accident, she was like, "Hey, you need to get rid of your motorcycle." And I was like, "Yeah, I think you're right."
My
Now I miss it a
ex
little
had
bit,
a my ex had a motorcycle, and he would ride like his dad rode motorcycles, so he would ride from here to Utah. He worked in Utah, and there was a time where I was like, didn't have much gas in my car, and his parents lived in Azle, so we were gonna go to Azle from Argyle, and I was like, let's just take the bike. So I rode on the back. I don't know how far is Azle. It takes about an hour to get there. Um, and I was fine, whatever. But the next time, like when it came time to do it again, we were going to work and I had him take back roads. And then just thinking about the roads we were going to take and how windy they were, I started getting really freaked out and I did the whole excuse me, and I made him pull over and I was like, I'm gonna need you to go home and get the car. Like I can never ride on this again. I was having real bad intrusive thoughts about us
Oh
having an
wow.
accident, so I was like, yeah, no, we're never gonna do that again. But
Yeah, I never actually took McKaylee on my motorcycle, mainly for the reasons that I was never confident enough that I couldn't completely secure her safety
yeah.
outside because I'd never ridden with a passenger, and I was like, I'm not taking the chance because it's one thing when I take the chance with my own life, right? It's
Uh-huh.
another when I involve someone else. So
That is true. It's a lot of responsibility. Precious cargo,
correct,
as I like to say.
absolutely.
I have run off so many like I've upset dates before because they'll text in the car. I'm like, excuse me, hello, are you texting? And like, people don't like being told what to do. They really don't.
No, they don't.
Until they do, and then you find that person and they're your honey.
You know, Pendrake, I see crap like that on eight because I drive 820. It's one of the three major highways that I hit to get home because I live forever away. 820. Um, I see crap like that on 820 all the time. There's something about 820 that people just do that stuff.
I for a while lived in North Richland Hills and I called 820 F820 cuz it's just at the time at least it's just awful. Like really really bad. I don't know what I'm doing with this hair, by the way. I'm really just playing and experimenting.
Looks
So,
good. Looks like she has highlights.
thanks. That's what I'm going for. Um, I kind of messed up the money piece. The money piece is what we call it when people have just the front of their hair blonde or the front of their hair real
Also,
blonde.
yeah, you're off camera.
It's hard because I'm not using two monitors right now, so I've got chat almost like occluding it. I don't have the best situation going. I should have gotten up earlier. I stayed up late last night. I wanted to talk to my honey when he was on his way home, and he stayed at work late last night. Um, I get real nervous. I do a thing where I always think the worst. And then I forgot that I talked to him all the way home, and I'm like, I wonder what time he came home. I hope he wasn't in the accident, whatever. So, but he, I was on the phone with him.
I have those problems when flying, actually, those intrusive thoughts you were talking about. But
Oh,
I don't know how to explain it, but every plane I get on, I literally almost convince myself, which is ridiculous, but I convince myself that plane is going to just
yeah.
fly into pieces and crash. It's just, I don't know how to get it out of my head.
I had a therapist tell me that's what Xanax is for, or whatever, whatever have you. But I kind of asked her, I was like, what do you think the answer is for people that, are like me, that really just, I don't know, at times it's like you don't want to stop worrying. And she said that there are people that feel like their worry keeps the plane up, and there's not a whole lot you can do.
Right, yeah. Also, you're slightly off camera again.
Still, see, people keep telling me that. I wonder if something weird is happening with my. What's it called? Hold on. Actually, I've got a good idea. I mean, it's an idea. I don't know if it's a great idea, but it's a way that I can see better and have my chat going and see chat. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So, um but yeah, I'm the same way with flying. I haven't flown since I was little, and when I think about it, I'll get real worked up. Like I'll get real nervous.
Yeah, me too. And that's gotten incrementally worse since my trip to Disney. I don't know why the anxiety's gotten worse in terms of flying.
Really? I do remember
Hmm.
before the Disney trip you were very nervous.
Yeah, I was. It was bad. It was something like I think the last plane ride I took, where I basically experienced little to no anxiety, was I think the one I took to Vegas. And then but here's the thing: that was the first and last time I ever flew Spirit. Not that I have anyone who flies Spirit is, whatever, that's fine. But like Spirit is very, let's say it's very economical, right?
I
And
was
I feel
about to
like
say that.
it's, I don't know that I'll ever fly. I know I'll never fly Spirit again, but
They're like, oh, it's Tuesday. We're going to break a window and throw one of your bags out. You didn't know that? You didn't know about the Tuesday throw out? Okay, well, you know now. James, starving artist, has flown Spirit for a lot of his little glass trips, and it's not great. It ain't great.
did you want to have seat cushions? That's extra. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say that when I when I went, it felt like they crammed as many people in the tightest space I've ever seen, and it was, oh gosh. In fact, I swore up and down the cart they used for peanuts and drink back then, like that they'd push up and down, was it's like one of those narrow gray carts we use at work. Like it just didn't even seem very.
Oh my goodness.
Does genuinely feel like a couple like boxes just strapped to a floor.
Reminds me of I made home movies when I was a kid, but like with a plot, So we made one. I'm sure I've talked about this before because it's about the silliest thing ever. But we made one where we were like archaeologists and we were um, going to Egypt and we were gonna look at a mummy. So we took all these dining chairs and set up in the hallway and took like the video cameras back then were the shoulder kind that had like the little tube where you could look through the viewfinder. I don't know, whatever. Um, and we shook the camera like, oh no, there's turbulence kind of thing. Um, it was probably very similar to a Spirit flight. Real bare bone. Would you like to pay ahead for your share of the fuel or settle up when we land? Yeah. Dirty looks from flight attendants still free. Oh. So yeah, I don't know
Yeah, I
what we're
will say
hashtag
that
freeing,
was.
by the way.
Oh, Dr. Bob. Oh, you don't know what we're giving away.
I don't. I'm gonna say it's a mystery paint. Sorry, my hair is doing crazy. Like everything's everywhere. I did not.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm not in the bad mood about it because I made myself take deep breaths and not get in a rush because I've noticed um, the last few years my biggest goal has been regulating my moods because you get to an age where you just realize like, man, I really, not that I'm like the worst person to deal with in the world or anything, but I just really don't want to make my moods everybody else's problem. So, like, mood regulation's my top. And I've noticed that when I get in the worst mood ever is when I'm in a rush and when I'm moving things from place to place. So, for example, when I was staying more often with James, I would get my stuff together and like pack my bag, and I would get hot. It's also when I get hot, and I would get in a rush and just awful. Um, so anyway, so I try not to get in a rush and take deep breaths and tell myself like it's not that big a deal and I won't run late if I work slowly and I make myself work slowly. So while everything is everywhere, it's not that deep. Dr. Bob. Oh, I don't think so. I probably do in my private stash or whatever. I couldn't tell you for sure. Dr. Bob, you shouldn't have gotten two of the same paint. That I should have. I know I should have like rubber banded them together. That's my bad. Because internet has enough to think about without whatever I want to give away. But I put them like side by side, and I kind of thought like, man, I really wish I could attach these, so I make sure they go out together. But uh, it is what it
Um,
is. Go ahead.
Also too, like while we're talking about planes and everything being everywhere, I didn't even tell you this, but the plane that we flew back from, oh, I didn't even tell you the best part.
No.
So we got to the airport. Our flight was supposed to leave at, I think it was 1 o'clock. I think is when it was supposed to leave
Uh huh.
on that Wednesday, and we got there, and we all got onto the plane, and they said, okay, everyone get off the plane because we there's some weather in Aspen, we're not going to be able to land, so we have to delay the flight or cancel because they thought the weather wasn't getting any better because it was like basically a big blizzard more or less was moving in up there. It was all kinds of snow, but basically what we ended up doing was we made an executive decision in that moment to take a flight that was 45 minutes later to Denver. So we ran out another gate, got into a flight to Denver, and then rented two vehicles in Denver, and then drove through all the mountain passes through that storm.
Oh my
It took
goodness.
us about 5 hours to get there, um, and it was definitely a nerve wracking experience, and that not really for me. It wasn't that bad for me, but my fiance, who's never really driven in that kind of weather, she was it was kind of stressful for her, and it took a long time, but we got there. There wasn't any accidents, there wasn't any problems, but it was great when we got there because it was like a winter wonderland. That's what it felt like we were driving into.
I love
um,
that.
but when we flew out of Aspen, because we were able to get out normally, right?
Uh huh.
um, that was the smallest plane I've ever been on. It was basically 2 seats by 2 seats, and it only held like probably 40 or 50 people, I felt like. It didn't
Oh.
hold that many people. Yeah, and the takeoff, there was a moment in takeoff where we like dropped. It was like lost altitude quickly,
No.
and honestly, Sadie, I at that moment I was like, it's it, I'm done, and it was fearful. It was
I'm
very
getting
fearful.
sick just thinking about it.
Correct.
Man,
Yeah.
you and I should just sit in a room and talk about bad things that could happen when you fly and
Oh gosh.
and just get through it. Cuz I bet we could. Like exposure therapy. I know like I shouldn't have done this, but I remember when you were going to Florida. Oh my goodness. When you were going to Florida, I don't know why I said this, but I was like, flying, every time I fly, I just think about that United 93 movie, like at the very end where it shows like it just I shouldn't have even said this right now. It's just a horrible thing. But I gave Justin a movie visual of a plane going down and he was like, that's the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. Like I don't want to think about that. No,
I
that's
told you. Go ahead.
that's not what I talked about, but I'm not going to talk about the other thing I talked about because it's all really dark and this is ending up being the dark show and I don't like it. I don't like where we're
Well,
going.
I agree. We should change it. One last thing though,
Okay.
and it was to piggyback on what you just said. When my fiance and I went to Miami for our vacation, I think it was what beginning of 2019? No, end of 2019, October.
Mhm.
Yeah, and in fact, that was the last vacation I went on that I didn't have to wear a mask all the time. But I remember. So, like, we went to Miami, remember? And I think that's when you had said that stuff to me when it was just Michaela and I going to Miami.
Yeah.
But I remember I told you, I think I told you this, that while we were there, I saw a special on, like, I don't remember what channel it was, like TLC or something. And it was about crazy plane crashes, domestic plane crashes while we were there. And while we were there, that the segment that they were talking about when I was flipping through the channels was about a flight from Miami to DFW that right before it landed, it got hit with some sort of updraft or something, and it just smashed into the ground and then broke into two pieces. And I was like, oh, and oh, this is the
No.
same. This is the same flight that hit that poor man on 114.
I was
Yeah,
about to say if this were a different show, I would talk about I would talk about that crash because that freaked my mom out really bad. It was really bad cuz it went right across it was really bad.
but yeah,
Mm,
that's. But that I just remember watching that, and I'm like, I'm gonna rent a car and drive home. I'm not getting on a plane to go home. I'm not doing it.
yeah. Oh my god.
Gosh. But anyway,
I think that I was just the right age when TWA 800 happened. Um, and that was the one over New York that's kind of sus. Like, they're not really sure what happened, but I'm pretty sure I know what happened. Um, but anyway, like, it's just, you hear about stuff when you're really young and it kind of gets you stuck on it, which makes me wonder kind of how kids these days are going to do. Um, I think that there are some OCD channels that'll be kind of opening up in a lot of kids um, because of kind of what's going on right now. But whatever. I mean, we survived
yeah.
it. They'll survive it.
So stuff like that, Nomad Zeke, actually, like for me, I could probably watch the Titanic on a cruise ship just because there's not heights involved. I know it sounds weird. I don't want to die from a very high up place. So like it's scary to think of, be having to swim in the middle of whatever ocean, right, with sharks and stuff. But to me that doesn't even move my needle really, but it's anytime I have to go high up in the air and there's any chance of not only, dying in a fiery fireball, but also falling 16,000 feet, right? That's
Yeah.
just sounds terrifying to me. I don't like heights. I think that's probably where it comes from, really.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great with the heights. Uh, I know I've talked about this because I showed one of the pictures from Reddit, but I have that, what do they call it? It's a phobia. It's big things. Megalophobia. So
Megalophobia?
yeah, so I can't look up at tall buildings. I'm better at looking off of something really tall than looking up at tall things. And it just depends on what it is. So if it's humanoid, it doesn't have to be that tall before I get really weird about it. So James and I went to, oh, what was it? It was like a spa. I don't remember what the spa was, but they had the big um, Egyptian kings, the like big pharaoh looking guys. And I saw them, and James, like, he's not scared of stuff like I am. So he never gets like mean or ugly about it, but he really doesn't like that I'm so scared of stuff. So I have to like kind of pull him aside and be like, "Oh, hey, by the way, You just have to understand how ridiculous it is to be with somebody and maybe just like every 6 months to a year uncover a new neurotic fear. And then one day we're going to the spa, and I don't want to go to the spa because I don't want to be. It ended up being okay because they put you in like gym shorts and a t-shirt, so it wasn't like, I don't know, you're still like naked in front of a lot of people. It just wasn't my scene. Um, but it's got to be a trip to be with somebody that you're driving into the spa parking lot and they say, "Oh, by the way, I'm scared of really big things," and they've got big pharaohs out front. Like, almost like you're shitting me. Really? Like, really? You can't be serious. Another phobia, but whatever. I am who I am. He actually gets a little nervous about my fear of flying. Like, he's kind of like, are we never going to be able to travel? Sort of thing. But my thing is like, you do you. If I don't ever want to travel, don't worry about it. Go show
See, that's the
me.
thing. It's my love for travel is still there. Where like I want to do it, and we'll schedule it 8 months out, and then the closer we get, the more and more I start to just develop massive anxiety about flying. And then, you know, I could have when we got back from flying on or from coming back from Aspen this last Sunday, I could have kissed the ground when I got off the plane. There was no
Oh,
need to, but I genuinely at this point, I almost have to like be anesthetized to
yeah.
go flying. It's rough.
I will definitely, like, when I fly, I'll probably just take Xanax or drink. Not that I get it from the doctor. Like, nobody, don't at me, but not the alcohol. That's my own prescription. But I don't drink that often. But I have noticed that when I was in my 20s, like when we went down to Austin for the hair show, I drank quite a bit on 6th Street, and I was like, oh my God, that feeling that something bad is definitely going to happen. I don't have that right now. It was wonderful. Yeah, Valander, that's a good one too. I got that. I got a claustrophobia really bad. So this will lead me into like something else exciting. So I got vaccinated for COVID last week. I was number 47,000 or so in DFW. Are you just registered in Tarrant County, Justin?
What do you mean?
Uh, aren't you registered for interest in a vaccine
Oh, yes, correct.
in
Oh,
Tarrant
I
County?
didn't even tell you that. I got a text message when I was right when after we landed in Denver,
That's like
telling
come
me
in
that
tomorrow?
no, yeah, it said
Yeah.
Friday,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, that's unfortunate, but
Did you reschedule?
I told him to, but I haven't gotten a text since, so we'll see
Oh.
what happens.
So anyway, I was gonna go by myself because I thought, um, I'll get back to this, Dr. Bob, but Austin is good vibes, and that is true. So, um, let's see. And spoons, I'm like a certified heavyweight. I could function. I can panic through Xanax. You've never seen anything like it.
Hey, Sadie,
Hmm.
I got a essentially a temporary prescription to fly this time with Xanax, and I panicked through it.
Yeah. Well, you're a certified
I
heavyweight. You need it on your license. You need to double up. I don't know. But you can.
yeah, no
But I
idea.
have found that you can let yourself, like, once. This doesn't need to turn into what I'm about to turn it into, so I'll just let it go. But if you were to double up, you would get to a point where you weren't panicking, and then you just wouldn't remember the evening.
Yeah, I was warned of that too. Everyone says you'll black out.
It is the scariest thing ever. Um, it happened to me when Obama was going to make an announcement at 9 p.m. And I was like, oh God. It happened to me twice. Okay, so it happened to me twice. It happened when Obama was going to make that 9 p.m. Announcement. And it was about Osama bin Laden, but they didn't tell what it was right away. People were just speculating. So I'm like, what could it be? What could it be? Like, is it an asteroid? What is it? So I took one, and then I was like, it's not helping. And then I took another. So then I just went about my evening, and the next day I saw I saw my neighbor, and he was wearing a shirt with the Kool-Aid guy on it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Kool-Aid." And he said, "You said that last night." And I was like, "I didn't see you last night." And he's like, "Yeah, you did. You said, 'Oh yeah, Kool-Aid.'" And I talked to him because I'd never blacked out before. And he said, "Yeah, you were just normal. Like, you played video games. We were playing Super Nintendo at the time, and I did really well at Mario and all the normal stuff. So I don't know." And then the second time it happened was when NASA was going to make an announcement about the nature of life on other planets. And I was like, "Oh no, this is disclosure. They're going to talk about aliens," which is like, I'm cool with it now, but at the time I wasn't. So I did the same thing. I took one, still panicked, and I took the second one. And then I went to the library at TCC, which is down in the basement, and they have like a little computer lab. And I was working on a paper, and I woke up, and people were looking at me, so I fell asleep in public. So that wasn't great. That wasn't a good time, but I think that's why they won't do disclosure. So ladies won't go too hard and fall asleep in public. Uh, it's a forget me now. Uh, yeah, Dr. Bob, the Austin thing. Okay, bats in Austin. I'm sure you saw when the flood happened, people were rescuing bats from under the bridge. And I was thinking, oh my God, that's, hello, rabies. Like, so scary. Um, Scared of opioids. Not into those. Um, yeah, maybe they do prescribe you just like a almost placebo level just to start off with. Trashorama says this is Painting Platinum or Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It is kind of that. It is kind of that. I once
Just call
read
Sadie the Rolling Stones reporter.
I once read a list of things that Hunter S. Thompson had taken in a day to Anne. Like, I don't know why I was hearing it on something. It was a quote, and she was not as impressed. Anne is not into that. I mean, I'm not into it. I think it's hilarious, but she thought it was very sad because she's a writer, and she understands the plight of a writer and with the dangers, the occupational hazards, one of which being substance. Uh, hmm. Scary thing about alien life, the discovery of how common long chain hydrocarbons are in nebula, combined with the fact that a humanoid build is about as simple as it gets for a sapinate body plan, means that more aliens will look like rubber forehead aliens or furries than they will look like starfish or eldritch abominations. Um, okay, so don't pick a bat up off the ground. Aliens probably do look like the big spooky aliens. Uh, just because a medication isn't working doesn't mean you should take another. Don't ever do that. Um, and yeah, so back to the COVID vaccine. I got the COVID vaccine. I was really nervous about it. And I was going to go by myself. But Vicky and Dave drove me. Reaper, Harley, and Dave. Because they had already gotten it. And they were kind of concerned when they realized nobody would be with me. So I really wasn't nervous. And I didn't think I would be nervous. But I got nervous. And I got mostly nervous by the amount of cars and the fact that I was kind of trapped in there. I started to feel like a dog that was going to the vet. Like, I was like, oh no, 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 no. So, I signed up for the vaccine on account of being a little chunky. And I felt very guilty about it. Because I was like, that's not a very good reason to be getting a vaccine. But I justified it because I don't want to take up a hospital bed. And so I signed up, and they're moving quickly through Denton County. So my boyfriend signed up for asthma, and he got it. Justin has asthma. So yeah, so I've been kind of telling everybody I know about it. Um, I will say this. Okay, so I'm not concerned about the vaccine, Valfera, because the technology that they're using has been used for 30-ish years. There's a new part of the process that they discovered in 2016. Um, Plus, that mixed with, to me, the benefits outweigh the risks. So for me personally, I would never tell anybody else what to do with their body. Like my mom's concerned about it. I don't know if she's gonna get it, but I don't want to get COVID. I really don't. I don't want to go through life knowing that I've had COVID and ask myself, what does this mean um, for my lungs? Could this be, Epstein Barr gives you, a lot of times makes you more likely to get certain types of cancer. So I'm not concerned about it. I didn't have any side effects besides, this is bizarre. Uh,
My fiance actually, I think, has Epstein Barr.
a lot of people do, and it used to. That was one of the big things that people talked about. If they didn't really know what was wrong with you, Epstein Barr was something they brought up because it can give you like long term malaise, I guess, fatigue. You just generally feel unwell. Um, yeah, same, rings raccoon. So that's the deal with that. Yeah, I just don't want it. If I wanted lung damage, I'd take up smoking. Uh, so
Which
yeah,
actually, funny segue, you would have done that on the show a long time ago had we let you.
I would have. Um, and because of COVID, I don't really smoke anymore. Because I was into the CBD, and sometimes I smoke cigarettes when I get in a really, really bad mood, and um, I do wonder because I've heard people say that sometimes when they feel like smoking cigarettes, that they're going through some kind of mood event. But if I get really pissed off, I'll usually go buy cigarettes. Uh, but I do like CBD. Nothing else fun and exciting because I would have a panic attack.
Oh, I went to my first dispensary
How
type
was that?
place. Well, I mean, I purchased some gummies and I tried one of them and I got into the hot tub that night and they were so strong I don't remember walking through the 15-degree temperature to the hot tub and then back.
Wow.
Yeah, and I only ate the one. You know, gave the rest away essentially.
How many milligrams?
It was 10, I believe. I don't know. It's one the lady. It's the
Wow.
one the lady suggested. It was pretty strong.
Um, from, old times, I can say, not recently, but when I was younger, I was immune. I've heard of it one other time. I was immune to edibles. Just doesn't work on me. I don't know why. Like I have no idea. It was a waste. And I've heard of one. So my boyfriend's a glass blower, and he knows uh, this other glass blower, and he uh, he had the same problem. And I was like, is he chunky? Is it because I'm chunky? And he's like, no, he's not chunky. So oh my gosh, that's so funny. I don't know. Maybe this should be a lost episode of Painting Platinum.
Uh, no, there were other details in that, Lord Dave, that I have not made public. If you remember,
Um,
other details as a part of that story.
but what used to be kind of fun is I was sort of known as, for whatever reason, I would just always end up with like normal guy friends ending up at my house like overdoing it, and me wanting to play video games and be done with the evening and them having to crash. Like I remember telling Gus about it, and Gus was like, "Didn't that happen with somebody else?" like, just, I won't say any names, but the big tall one that had like a existential crisis, and I had to tell him to chill out, and then he passed out at my house. Horrible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. And then I like woke him up, and I was like, "Bro, you're good. Like, you gotta go home. I'm bored. Like, get out of here."
I miss him.
Me too. I didn't know him that well, but he became one of my favorite people in the whole world. We did a Kickstarter fulfillment together, and we were the go across the street and get more stock, and we made the best team. Love that guy. But yeah, I'm proud to be in a place where mind altering substances don't really interest me, and life always feels normal, I've found. Um, you know, it's just cheaper this way. But I do like CBD. Um, I think I'm just
Yeah. For the people who aren't super in on it, Sadie is referring to a somewhat. John, you actually know this person. Someone who used to be employed at Reaper. We're keeping his name intentionally
redacted.
obscured. Yeah, redacted.
Hi, Max Styles painting. Uh, so and we actually, like, I was going through a breakup, so most of the time that I worked with Justin and that we worked with this guy, I was like in an on again off again, and I broke up. Like, me and this guy broke up, and I was trying to decide. Uh, let's see, trying to decide. Are we gonna try and get back together or not? Are we gonna do this on and off again thing forever? So I went out with this person, and we went to a bar and had like a beer, and that's how this all started.
Oh, was
And
this the Big P?
uh the big P. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The person.
Yeah.
But do you see what I did there
I was
too?
like, how many hashtag frees are we up to? The big P sounds like we're talking about something we shouldn't be talking about.
No, right. But that's it's a double. Like in this case, it's
Jesus Christ.
But just to
Yeah.
clarify, Big P is what you refer to as number two, not what people might be thinking.
What? Yeah. I don't know what it word. This is an inside joke from me.
Perfect. Trashorama used it right.
Yeah. Started in high school, I thought smoking cigars would make me more attractive to girls. I was wrong. The big P is not a D. Thank you,
Correct.
Chef.
Thank you,
Chef
Chef.
of Love. Um, exactly. So, um, we're talking about a person's name, right?
Correct. His name isn't redacted, I guess, but I just
No.
prefer.
No, okay. Oh, so that person I saw on Facebook recently, and he's got the most obnoxious mustache, to the point where when I saw the picture, I was like, is that a fake mustache? And then I remembered probably normal people don't wear fake mustaches. So I guess he's taken the opportunity with the mask wearing to grow a big old mustache. Pretty interesting times. But anyway, yeah, so went out with this guy, came back, and I told him, you'd better not, you'd better not. And he was like, I'd better had, and then passed out at my house. And he's a really tall guy, really, really tall. And I just remember, like, thinking, like a giant sprawled out in my house. Felt like the Three Bears, and Goldilocks had just destroyed my house. This episode once edited. Hello, this is Painting Platinum. Thank you and have a great day, y'all. Luckily, I don't think anybody watches this. Ed didn't realize why I was getting paint together, and I was like, "All right, um,
All right.
that's fine. This is all fine." So, either way, but yeah, I got to a point where nature cut me off, and I've heard this happens. I've heard that people that use, yeah, 82 people watch this. Thank you, Lord Dave. Uh, so, um, it just didn't work for me anymore. Like, I just can't. My brain likes to be sober. And I don't really like to drink. It's just hard to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, alcohol is so heavy that it's just not very palatable for me. I know some people have a very easy time of it. But I gotta tell you, the dumbest reason ever that it's hard for me to quit smoking um, permanently, and the reason I still keep up with, sometimes I'll smoke a cigarette or whatever, is I worked really hard to learn how to French inhale, and I don't want to stop. It's pure vanity. I'm off. I'm painting and I'm off. Clip it and send it to the police. Uh, but anyway, let me show this picture of Texas Motor Speedway. Now that we've totally gone off the rails. Valfera, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, so let me show you. My boyfriend, when he went and got his vaccine, he took this picture. He got a sticker. I did not get a sticker, guys. And my boyfriend takes photos of his work, since he's a glass blower, he is more kind of artistic with photos. So he was sitting in the car and we had to wait 15 minutes to make sure he wasn't going to have a reaction. We're sitting in the car and he's like, I want to get a picture of the sticker in front of the speedway. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And he said, maybe I'll get in the back seat and take it. And I was like, please don't get in the back seat. Let me put my seat back. Cause I just didn't want to, you don't want to make a scene at the vaccination station. So, he got this picture and he showed it to me and I was like, oh, okay, that's our picture now. So I went from like irritated with the whole routine to like, what a great picture. So this is going to go in our COVID scrapbook. Yeah, sorry guys, this has gone off the rails. No, I can't complain because the people were really great. And let me tell you what else about my vaccine that I haven't told my honey. When I went to get my vaccine, the guy who gave me the jab was hot. Hot nurse or firefighter. Yeah, we don't need no stinking rails. Where we're going, we don't need rails. Yeah, vaccination station. Watch your patient get injections stopping the COVID. Yeah. Oh, good, mighty Jabberwocka. I'm glad. I wish we could be. Okay, so guys, you don't know this, but Justin and I have a pretend podcast, and it's the pre-show. And it's just not published. But maybe one day we will do a podcast. We're still on the wait list.
I feel like it'd be easy to do.
Yeah, I do too. I actually do. Or we could be a little bit more open because the opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect those of the Reaper Miniatures staff and ownership. So anyway.
Correct. It would be a complete side project.
Yeah. This one in particular. There needs to be Reaper Saturday Night Confessional show once a month. I finally pissed somebody off. And I really won't talk about it, but I did finally piss somebody off. So, we need to not go, like, we need to probably not do a confessional. Yeah, pre-platinum. Oh, that'd be so great. Thanks, Lord Gazumba. But anyway.
It's crazy because the idea that what we already do isn't unplugged, the idea that it would really be off the rails.
Oh, yeah, we'd add mimosas.
Specific. Oh man, that brings back some memories.
Yeah. Same kind of little. Oh, they're still a little red. I don't like this hair color anyway. Guys, I'm about to scrap this mini. How bad is that, Justin?
Say that again.
How bad is it if I scrap this mini?
Well, you can do whatever you'd like. We'll say it is 4:10, so we're nearing the end. I would
420
before
release
Reaper
it?
Live. No, well, we're at 4:10 plays it, but I would like to get all the videos from next or last week uploaded before
So we're
Reaper
gonna quit
Live
at
tonight.
4:30.
We will quit it. Well,
Yeah.
4:20, 4:30. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do 4:20. So it is my show. But yeah, we had a mimosa lunch one time where it was me, the very tall redacted name gentleman, and Gus and Justin. Did I say Justin? And we all had like a couple mimosas, and I guess like I was pretty small back then, so like I was just so overwhelmed with how much I love my friends. I cried. I was like, these are the good old days, and it's never gonna. It's just they won't last. I was just like, I was just overwhelmed. I don't think anybody else had that experience because I'm the only person that's little enough at the time for two mimosas to have that kind of effect. Uh, Next year we'll paint the wings. We'll do it next year. Um, so yeah, they can last if you have a large enough freezer. No, it was just like the perfect group. And the vibe changes, right? Like the vibes changed quite a bit at Reaper. And it's still a good vibe. It's just not the same. Like one thing I always say is that it's always really hard to be in a situation where you give each other shit, but you don't talk maliciously about other people. And there was a very wholesome vibe of that. Like we would give each other shit really hard, but we really wouldn't give anybody else shit. And there actually was a situation where somebody was giving someone else shit or being self-deprecating, and one of our people that worked with us but that was not in the group got really mad because they thought that they were talking about them. Did they walk out? Do you know what I'm
Do
talking
what?
about, Justin?
I don't.
Oh, you do.
I do.
Yeah, oh, what was his name? Old PB's friend.
PB's friends.
The one that took Sophie. What was his
Oh
name?
yeah.
Yes. So we were not giving his friend shit. I wasn't there, actually. I won't claim this one. I think Gus was talking about himself, and the guy got really mad and was like, I'm done with you people, kind of thing. Uh, yeah, Chef of Love. It's like how summer camp changes from year to year. No, it was PB and S in this situation. I just don't remember the name. I just remember it started with an S, right? It wasn't
Right.
Smithers, but it was something like Smithers.
Oh, it was Smitty.
I thought we were redacting, but
Well, that wasn't. No, no, no. His because back then everyone had nicknames, and
oh
they weren't
yeah.
bad. They weren't bad nicknames. They just everyone had nicknames.
You remember
Um,
we had this guy old Jerry,
Old
and
Jerry.
and
Yeah,
I
his
didn't
name wasn't
know
even Jerry.
I didn't know why we called him old Jerry, but it was because Victor called him old geriatric because he was slow. Like he walked slow, right? He was
Yeah.
he was a meandering presence. I don't even remember his real name.
Yeah. Well, and also we would like to specify Victor didn't make the best decisions.
I loved Victor. I don't care who knows that I loved Victor. Um like my friend was named Rick. His name was not Rick. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right, let's play with mixing some colors together, shall we? Uh, Something kind of cool about these RVE colors that I really, really like is that um, a lot of them I've made not clear brights. And they're not clears, right? But they're close. So let me see if I can find. There's one color I'm missing that I actually kind of need of the McTriad. Damn it. Maybe I'll show it later. But I'll kind of talk a little bit about the colors that I do have. I'm just missing of my really bright ones. I'll talk about the really bright ones. Then I have Root Turkey Red. Sorry, these are all really mixed together. So Root Turkey Red is part of the let me pull out a little bit. Yeah, was it on Crow's Nest that they were saying it was yellow? It is very, very yellow. So what it's similar to is, if you're familiar with the neon yellow that's in MSP, it's similar to that, but it's not quite as green. I don't remember what specifically Plasma Blue's deal is. I think it's just a straight up blue, or a straight up blue of the pigments we use. Let's see. So then Viceroy Crimson is our cool red that's a little deeper. I hate that I don't have it, but in this triad, there's a cool bright red. So cool, kind of darker red. That's really pretty. I really like this color. And I'll kind of mix some stuff together and show you guys in a little bit. Then we have Rook Turkey Red, which is, I'm trying to think how to describe it. I think it's a darker, now I can't even remember. I went so back and forth so many times. Let me try and remember. It is a bright but slightly like taken down a notch. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this going. So this one's not cool. It's just kind of straight up, but kind of taken down in value. Then, okay, so this is like my little controversy of within the department is Paxton, former game store Paxton, was about to pump this, and he was like, see, now this is an orange, because I was talking about this scarlet color, because everybody, scarlet is toward the orange side, but it's not bright orange, obviously, because then it'd be orange, it wouldn't be scarlet. So not everybody agreed that this was scarlet, but it's a very pretty color. And it is kind of hard to tell within this. Maybe if I put it on the gray, and I'll just repaint this little dealie. But that is our scarlet. So that's another one of our roll. Oh no. Another one of our real brights. Very intense. So I did a lot that were really intense. Yeah, rock red is really nice. I think rock red is it rock or rack? Rack red. It's, I believe, inactive, and it's got a little more of a pastel vibe to it. It's not pastel, but it's toward pastel. And then the other bright is this Cyberist orange. So brighter rock red. Intense, yeah, it's the camping triad. And this is the orange, which I really like, Cyberist orange. So, oh, I didn't mix that well enough. Oh well. But very nice intense. I tried to make them as pigmented as I can, following the parameters that I have, because when something gets too pigmented, it doesn't adhere as well. Oh, Sione Scarlet. I did look at it just to make sure. I can't tell you off the top of my head. Um, I can't tell you off the top of my head. Oh, and I didn't go into Deflector Shield or these Plasma Yellow. I talked about Plasma Yellow. Well, I wasn't going to swatch them all. That's why I didn't swatch it. But speaking of rock, Malvernus, other Cav colors. Are there plans to continue and expand on those colors? Um, so Cav, I believe, is another company. So I don't know too much about it until it comes back up. Cav, we do paints for Cav, but we don't, and as far as I know, haven't, at least in a long time, sold Cav colors. But I do make them for somebody. So this is the other yellow that is warm. It's the other side of yellow. Yeah, I have mentioned it would be really nice to have a way to thank you Hunter plays drums. It would be nice to have a more insulated little shipping container. But here's the problem. Here's the big problem is if you order from a third party, there's no way of us knowing what conditions they keep the paint in. So like if we knew that we were going to send it to you in Wisconsin or whatever, we could do it, but then they would just sit in a warehouse for somebody else. So so that's kind of the deal there. But Ed told me it's not as big a problem as a lot of people worry that it is. I don't know if that's true. Like, if you live in a really cold area, you would probably know better than anybody. But Ed seems to think that they're somewhat insulated by other packages or just whatever else is in the package. I don't know. Maybe someday we'll think of a way to kind of ameliorate that. But yeah, so these are my brights, and I do really like these because you can mix them together and get a lot of really nice colors. Then the other ones we'll probably talk about next time, but the other ones are very kind of dreary and muted, and I do enjoy. So I was really nervous. I really left the palette up to Ed. I made a bunch of swatches, like a whole bunch of swatches, and I gave Ed a board with sticky tack on it and places. And he got to really pick what he wanted where. So when I joke that this is Reaper Virtual Ed edition, Ed is doing he's making a lot of the decisions for this. This has kind of been something he's been excited about. So I'm very, very impressed with how it's come together once it's done. I have that artist thing where I'm like, what is the meme? What do you do with your art when you're finished with it? I look at it until I hate it. By the time I finish one of these, I get so nervous. But I think this has turned out really well, and I'm really happy about it. And that's 27 new colors is the biggest thing I've ever done. I don't think I've ever done 27 new colors. So it's been really exciting to see people get them and look at them and love them. I feel like that meme, the little kid he's holding a mug and his lips are he's kind of like this. And it's every mom watching you open a Christmas present you say you weren't going to get. That's really how I feel about it. Yeah, Dr. Bob. Somebody, yeah. Yeah. It's something I don't think people thought about. Reverie 86 says, I've had several freeze on me before, so I don't like to order from October to March and possibly later, depending on how cold it is. Super cold right now. It's unfortunate since some paints are only around the cold months and I've missed out on them. We've talked about that too. So we've always talked about maybe we'll do Christmas in July or whatever. I would like to see people, if there were a way, just spitballing here, I would like to see people able to order whenever with confidence, but I don't know how that would happen. Maybe a Reaper cooler. Wouldn't that be fun? We had a Reaper brand cooler and you could order it and like paints could come in it and be insulated. Anyway, no promises, obviously. I don't make any decisions. Oh, Rings Raccoon. You have no idea. I would love that. I would love I would like water soluble oil paints because they have those now. They fucking have those now. Excuse me. Anyway, so I think we've told enough secrets. We've spilled enough beans that it's probably time for us to go. But we love you. We're gonna draw names. How many do we owe them, Justin?
We're giving away, let's see here, 2 sets as of right now.
2 sets. Okay. What I will do is I don't want to make any promises. I'll say this. I will give away 2 2-packs of some of my secret stash of either oopsies or samples or prototypes or whatever. So you'll get 2 kind of exclusives. So I can't tell you what it is and get you all excited, but I can tell you it's pretty unique. So we'll do that. So please draw 2, Justin.
All right. Our 2 winners are, I'll go ahead and announce them in chat here. Hyper Bunny 99 and Rihanna 8907. Rihanna or Rihanna? However it's pronounced.
Excellent. Thank you guys for sitting in with us and listening to us spill the tea, as it were.
We spilled a lot of tea today.
We spilled a lot of tea. Like, my pants are wet. I've spilled so much tea. They're not really wet. Okay. They're not really wet.
Well, on that note, we're going to be rating Jimmy the Brush.
All right. We'll see you tonight at 6. Mwah.
Thank you guys very much. Also, Collins is behind the wheel tonight, so wish you guys the best.
All right.
See you later.
See you later.